Today we're gonna take a look at the Earfree Roseselsa, formerly Rose Techniques Roseselsa Earfree i5. Thank you so much, Roseselsa, for sending this over. This is a TWS, like earphone style, like Apple EarPod style. Yeah, it has dual connectivity. It's actually pretty similar to, the functions of it. It's similar to the Ceramics X, only that, the form is a little bit different. This one here is like the AirPods style. If you're into that kind of form, then maybe you can consider this. They are currently priced around $50 to $69. You have all the functions you need, ANC, dual connectivity. Battery life is good. They have an app which is, you can change there the profiles of EQ. And I do have some graphs in that later and I'll show you. But yeah, let's move on to how they sound. So the tonality on this is, they're fun sounding, maybe V-shaped. I'd call it a V-shape. There's mid-bass, but probably not in bass head levels, but it's just, mid-bass is there. Good vocals, good mid-range. Needs a little bit of cleaning in the treble, but not as peaky as the Ceramics X. But the Ceramics X does have, it sounds like more resolving than this one. Probably depending on the fit as well. Forgot to mention about the fit. I don't know, for some reason, I had to use the large ear tip because I feel like I'm not getting a good seal. So it may depend on your ears, but for me, the fit is kind of like finicky. I didn't feel like it's secure. I felt like it's gonna fall or something. But yeah, tonality, it's fine. So for tonality, I think I'm gonna give it, I'd probably just give it maybe like a 2. It's not something that I hate or like either. It's just, for me, okay. Because the graph looks like, it's okay. I'm just gonna show you the graph in all 4 modes. This graph here is for like the pop, and then we have the hi-fi, we have the rock, which I like actually. It sounds smoother, and finally we have the light, which you probably don't need to bother using this. So these are all available in the app. So, just choose which one's best suited for you. But all in all, look at the graph on the rock. It looks smoother and it sounds like that. Since you have a chance to, choose the tonality, I'll probably give it 2.5, because you get the options. But it's DSP, but still, if you feel like wanting to have more fun, more forward vocals, then you can always change that in the app. So for tonality, I'm giving it 2.5 depending on your preference. Sometimes the hi-fi is also good in certain genres like vocals and instruments, but as an all-rounder, I think the rock, they sound good. Good balance of bass, mids, and treble. So moving on to the bass doesn't really change much with the setting. Like with the amplitude, and so most of the changes are in the upper mids to treble. For bass, I do think that they are a tad mid-bass forward. I would have liked it to, a little bit of mid-bass and sounds tighter. For me, in like songs like, say for example, J-pop or like slow rock, the bass tends to linger a little bit longer for my preference. So for the bass, I'm gonna give it a 2. Moving on to the mids, again, the mids are fine. They sound good. I'm not sure if they share the same driver with the Ceramics X, but they sound natural. Good clarity actually for a TWS. Vocals sound nice, no problems really. But then again, I would have liked it to, for the mid bass to be a little bit less, just so that vocals can sound more open sounding, but that's not the case here. So mids, I'm gonna give it 2.5. Treble is, depending on the treble really. Sometimes, the good thing about the Earfree i5 is they tame down the upper treble from the Ceramics X, which, makes everything super, super airy. See that there? Look at the mid bass that they added in there. So it sounds much fuller with the bass and the mids. The mids are thicker, but this area here around 14K or 13K, maybe this is the reason why the Ceramics X is more resolving. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying when the tracks are like, when you listen to metal, there's a lot of cymbals going on, and it's just the timbre is just a little bit off. But all in all, I think they tamed that down. They need to be worked on still. It's not as smooth, but at least you don't get a lot of peaks and the upper treble. So treble for me is 2.5. Moving on to techs. Techs is, they're fine. Good clarity, actually. It's not as 3D as the Ceramics X, but at the same time, you also get good imaging, good projection, and it has something to do also with the EQ itself, with the presets that they have. And since you can choose presets, sometimes vocals sound forward with the hi-fi, sometimes the timbre is a little bit fuller for the males for the rock. So you got options there. So for the text, I'm gonna give it 2.5. That's a total of 12. 12 for me is A minus, which is not bad for this price. For comparisons, like, yeah, the Ceramics X, if you're into brighter signature, cleaner tonality, more 3D imaging, perceived 3D imaging, maybe pick the Ceramics X, especially if you're not sensitive to higher trebles. If you like more bass and fun, and you're treble sensitive, then probably the Earfree i5 is the only thing I can compare, really. I do have the Kamikazee as well. Kamikazee, what's this one? Carol. Kamikazee is fine, but the Earfree is more resolving. The graph also is not that far, only that the Earfree is much bassier. See that there? But you can see there the Kamikazee has a more distinct talk. Kamikazee is probably a little bit smoother in the treble as well. Kamikazee is cheaper as well, but the good thing about the Earfree is, of course, they feel more sturdy. Feels like you're paying more for everything. They have an app that you can change, dual connection as well, LDAC, but if you're in a budget, you know, the Kamikazee Carol actually does fine as well. I think that's it. So do you need to buy the Earfree? I mean, like, if you're if you are satisfied with your TWS now, I don't know, like, you probably need this if like the traditional fitting of IMs is not for you and you like the earpod style. It's so hard to recommend stuff recently because, you know, like, companies are really tuning IEMs well, and the nuance and the differences are just very little, so it really depends on the implementation, battery life, stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, if you don't like bass, if you don't like the fit of like earpod style, then probably these are not for you. But yeah, it's a good release from Roseselsa, Rose Techniques. It's really about like the preference, so try learning to read graphs. The graphs, I mean, like, they don't really tell you the sound, but at least they tell you the level of bass, the level of treble, stuff like that. You know, if you like mid-bass heavy sets, then probably you like this one. Personally, I like a cleaner mid-range, not too sterile sounding, but not too much mid-bass too. That's just it. So Earfree i5 by Roseselsa, they're fine. I mean, I can't say anything about it other than I ranked it A minus.